Can you believe it? It's the third Saturday in October. That means it's time for Alabama and Tennessee. The Crimson Tide looking for their 15th straight win. That's crazy to say. And the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is going to get you ready for it right after this.
The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is on the air. Alabama football is rolling, and we've got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of an afternoon on the quad. With Bama Insider Managing Editor Kyle Henderson, recruiting expert Andrew Bone, and former Crimson Tide Sports Network broadcaster and SEC Network play-by-play voice Mick Gillispie. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery and the only beer you need at a Bama tailgate party. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's Play, now featuring the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. Also brought to you by the Floribama world-famous Beach Bar and Lounge in Orange Beach. Genesis of Tuscaloosa, luxury with a national championship service department. Sevierville, your Smokies start here. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. Innisfree, an Alabama Irish pub tradition. Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports, not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. Commercial banker Jay Weber with Service First Bank. Hotel Indigo, Tuscaloosa's amazing upscale boutique lodging in downtown. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. R&R Cigar, the home of the Victory Cigar, with 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport. And Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. Now, here are Kyle and Mick.
What do you say, everybody? It's time for the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. The Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And for the next 2 hours, we're going to preview number 4 Alabama against Tennessee. That's 6 o'clock at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The third Saturday in October showdown is back. And on the show today, we've got Eric Cain from the Sports Animal, Tennessee's flagship station in Knoxville. He's going to help us preview the Vols. We got Jeff Cameron from the College Sports Book. We're doing this pick thing back and forth each week. Jeff's an awesome guy. Chris Lowe, the senior college football writer from ESPN, he's going to be here. Chris Stewart from the Crimson Tide Sports Network is going to join us. We got Andrew Bone on recruiting. I'm Mick Gillispie, and it's great to team up with my good buddy and the man that owns R&R Cigar during the cigar matchup. Great time to talk with Reagan Starner as we sit here. My old partner on the Cigar Cast, too.
Yeah, those were the fun days. Chris Lowe was on the Cigar Cast.
I know.
Marty Brenneman.
Yep.
You know, had some good guests. Yep. And you got some good guests tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a great show. You and I are going to sit out here. We got our cigars. You've been busy. Yeah. I mean, this is like this is like Black Friday and Christmas all rolled up into one for a cigar shop guy.
I'm honestly really excited that you pulled me out of the inside. I've been running a register for the past 7 hours.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
So sitting out here is great.
Today, number 4 Alabama, 6-1 on the season, takes on Tennessee. They're 4-3. Bama coming off of a dominating win at Mississippi State. Tennessee had that controversial loss against Ole Miss at home. And this show is presented the third Saturday in October by R&R Cigar here, Tuscaloosa, Northport. You got 2 locations. Yeah. And for those of you that are driving to the game today, you're around Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, maybe you're listening across the state of Alabama. Maybe you're watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. There is still time to swing by and pick up your cigars.
There's time. You know, at this rate, we might sell out.
I saw the humidor. You guys are packed.
We're prepared.
You're prepared. Also brought to you by our friends in Sevierville. Visit Sevierville, Tennessee. Fall's a great time to visit Sevierville and the Smoky Mountains, and you got all the great things going on right now, like Smoky Mountain Harvest Fest, and then all the stuff going on around Christmas. That's visitsevierville.com. BamaInsider.com to find out more information. And again, Bama Insider, the YouTube channel, we're on every Friday night, 6 to 8 to preview Alabama. And then you're listening to us maybe on radio across the state of Alabama from 9 to 11, including our flagship station, Jocks 2, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, 69,000 watts of power to hear this show.
They might need 70 this time.
Might need
but
70.
That's a nice amount of watts. 69.
It's good
nice.
number right there.
Yeah, I like that one.
Well, Reagan, let's talk about Bama. First off, the team is back home. It was a rocky road trip. They lost to Texas A&M. They beat Mississippi State, dominating fashion.
Yeah.
And now they're back home for 4 games. They got Tennessee, off week, LSU, New Mexico State, and Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that slate. I'm really excited about the one tomorrow. But yeah, it's a really good slate. It's really weird to have 4 games in a row at home. That's really weird for us in Tuscaloosa because usually it's like you get 2 at home and then like 1 or 2 on the road.
Right.
And then to have all 4, the next 4 at home. That's what they need, I think, too. I think they need to have the home games this year. I don't think they played so well on the road. But,
well, no, they barely got by against Florida.
Yeah.
Lost to Texas A&M, and then back on track and looked like Alabama against Mississippi State last week.
And I don't consider Atlanta a road game, right? That's a home game for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Tennessee game. Things got kind of ugly last week against Ole Miss. They were fined $250,000. 17+ people were arrested.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin was hit with a golf ball. Someone threw mustard on the field.
Yeah.
It was just like, man, the game was delayed for like 20-some minutes.
I have so many questions about that too. Like, what's the thought process? What's the thought process on smuggling in mustard? Like, what are you like?
That's an interview I'd like to do.
Yeah, I would really like, and and it's a story I'd really like. Like, I want a 30 for 30 on the person that brought the mustard to the game. Like, why did you bring a bottle of mustard to the game? The golf ball, okay, fine. Yeah, that one's still weird, but
that was a hell of a throw, though.
He hit him. Yeah. Probably more accurate with the throwing it than he is hitting it.
I wonder if that guy got arrested, if he was one of the people there.
I hope so.
Yeah, Tennessee really with an electric environment at home. They're going in the right direction. I'm going to give them credit. They destroyed Missouri. They beat South Carolina. They're a really fun offense to watch. They're banged up. They don't have a lot of depth, but yeah, I got to give them credit. I kind of like what they're doing.
Yeah, I think, and it all comes down to quarterback play for them. Like if the quarterback, they said today that he was playing. So if he's playing, they can be fun. Joe Milton, really, really talented kid coming out of high school, couldn't crack it at Michigan, transferred to Tennessee.
Right.
But I was a huge fan of Joe Milton coming out of high school. He was a really good dual threat quarterback. And what an awful way to end it last week.
He ran out of bounds. Hendon Hooker has been kind of the guy. It's been Milton and Hooker going back and forth. Hooker got the job, got hurt late in the game, and then that's when Milton came in, threw a pass that could have been caught for a touchdown, and then he ran out of bounds. It was kind of a weird way to finish the game.
It reminds me of Mike Glennon throwing it away on 4th down.
No self-awareness there. None. Game awareness either.
None at all.
Alabama played a complete game, according to Nick Saban, 49-9. They just destroyed Mississippi State. So it's the last year Alabama shut out State. It was the first time and the only time in Mike Leach's career that he had a team shut out. And then this year, he was kicking field goals, and I could tell he was uncomfortable with the way that Alabama was attacking them. They scored 9, and it really didn't feel like it was much of a game. Alabama played well. They
really did, and having some of those guys come back, I think. You talk about in the loss to Texas A&M. You're with a limited Will Anderson. You don't have Chris Allen. You don't have Drew Sanders. You don't have Malachi Moore because he gets ejected first drive of the game.
Right.
Having those guys starting to come back, that defense, those are totally different defenses that they're running out. So I don't know. I think the A&M loss woke them up.
Yeah.
I think that will come up because when you win as many games in a row as Alabama won, you're talking about you have to go back.
Yeah, 19 straight,
19,
right?
Yeah. That's just a tough stretch. And the kids, these kids are 18, 19 years old, right?
Yep. All right, last question of this first segment, and I mean, just a quick answer here. Has the Tennessee-Alabama rivalry lost its luster?
Not at all. If you look at the rivalry historically, this is what happens. Teams go on a run, then they flip, then another team goes on a run, and it keeps flipping back and forth, and it's always about beating, keeping that streak going. So I don't like it when people say it's lost its luster. I mean, my sales today say that this is a huge game.
I agree with you. Look, I mean, it's been 14 straight for Alabama. I know there were really only 2 close games, maybe 3, 12 blowouts, but I agree with you. Look, when I was at school at Alabama, and I've said this many times, Alabama lost all of these games. I didn't get to beat Tennessee as a student, and I know how the other side of this feels.
I mean, from 95 to 2006, Alabama won 2.
Yeah, and Tennessee won like 10, right?
Yeah.
Or 8 or 10. I mean, they won a bunch in a row, and it was all when I was a student. So I take Tennessee seriously. I think it's a fun place to go visit, and this is a great rivalry. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino in Choctaw. Now's a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook, or the sports back at the Timeout Sports Lounge. However you want to look at it. And maybe you're betting on Bryce Young or William Anderson for Heisman. We're going to talk about that, Reagan, when we come back. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show at the Cigar Mansion in Tuscaloosa. Come on by and get your cigars right now if you're watching or listening. We'll be right back.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Floribama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Floribama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at Floribama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We're brought to you by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. We get you ready for Alabama and Tennessee, 6 o'clock at Bryant-Denny Stadium. This show, this remote, this everything is also presented not only by Screwball, which is a great addition to your tailgate, also Yuengling Lager. And here at R&R Cigar, not only do we have Yuengling, we got Yuengling Flight, we have Yuengling Hershey Porter. Keg and bottle, man,
Yeah,
which is amazing to me. Cheryl Yuengling, 6th generation company owner, went to Alabama here from Pottsville. She says she puts a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles, but I mean, those are black bottles, right? Brown bottles, they've got love in them too.
Yeah, and you
Chocolate
know what?
love.
I mean, you know, like when the Hershey Porter comes out, we have to stock up because that, like our distributor, they sell out of it immediately. It is one of the most popular beers in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, year in and year out since they got it here. I cannot give Cheryl enough praise for that beer because, I mean, we have people coming and buying 6-packs from us and because we're one of the few people that actually have it because we order enough to, you know, or I guess Publix sells it faster than we do, which isn't surprising.
Right, but you've got it here.
Yeah.
And R&R Cigar, 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, the Cigar Mansion. That's where we're talking to you now and getting you ready for the cigar game, the annual 3rd Saturday in October. And I got to tell you, man, there's been a rush of people coming back and forth. I know we got to talk football, and I want to get into that, but it's been wild here so far today. And I know a lot of you listening probably have come by at some point. All right, Bryce Young, William Anderson for Heisman, definitely impact players. Are we getting ahead of ourselves with Heisman talk for either one of these guys or both of them?
I mean, I don't think we're getting ahead of ourselves talking about Bryce Young for Heisman. I think we're absolutely getting ahead of ourselves talking about Will Anderson for Heisman. You know, we talked, but that A&M game, 0 pressures, 0 quarterback hurries. I don't know how you can say you're one of the most dominant defensive players, one of the most dominant players in college football, and you had no impact in a game that your team lost. You know, like even like Bosa and Chase Young and Clowney, even though their teams were losing, they made a huge impact every game. And I know we should give defensive players more credit for Heisman stuff, but you know, that one would be real tough for me to get over. He had a phenomenal game versus Mississippi State.
4 sacks.
And let's see, he keeps doing stuff like 4 sacks a game. Yeah, put him in the Heisman conversation, invite him to New York, no problem.
Things to do going into a bye week for the Crimson Tide.
Heal. I mean, I think the biggest, that's the most important part of the bye week is they need to get healthy. They need their running backs healthy. They need their linebackers healthy. They need the defense. They need to get healthy all across the board.
All right, let's talk about the story of the cigars and how they got into the Alabama-Tennessee game. You're the perfect guy to ask about it. I saw you tell the story on CMT. Chris Stewart, who's going to be with us later on in the show, told me that he smokes 1 cigar a year. He's, of course, with the Crimson Tide Sports Network, he's talking about when Alabama beats Tennessee. But what am I smoking here, too? This is
You've got a La Flor Dominicana.
This thing is excellent.
Yeah.
But how did cigars get into a football game? And even with the way that society is today, this tradition continues.
Well, we're on the 60th. This is the 60th anniversary of it.
Really?
Yeah. 1961 was when it first started with Jim Goosetree. And people forget, we're going back to the streaks. Alabama hadn't beaten Tennessee since 1955. They were 0-5-1. They actually did ties back in the 50s for college football. And thankfully now that's only soccer. You know, but yeah, so Jim Goosetree, he was a Tennessee grad. Bear Bryant hired to beat Tennessee. And so after the game.
Was he the trainer?
Yeah, he was the trainer.
He was the trainer.
And so after the game, it was a big deal because they'd lost 6 in a row, man.
Yeah.
You know, and so they lit up the cigars in the locker room. they probably had no idea they were starting an annual tradition, right? But that's the way the best traditions are started is, you just do something and organically it becomes a thing. And 60 years later, we're still smoking in Bryant-Denny, and hopefully we smoke in Bryant-Denny for another 120 years. And it's just really, I think it's one of the best. It's one of the best. It's one of the best traditions out in college football, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. I think it's really cool. It's great to see the players smoking my cigars, out on the field and in the locker room.
Yeah, how crazy is that? You see your cigars smoked down on the field.
Derrick Henry, Heisman Trophy winning running back.
He's got his arm around Saban.
He's got his arm around Saban, and he's smoking. He's smoking a cigar that I made.
Yeah,
that has my name on it. It literally has Reagan written across the bottom band, and and Randy and Debbie. And that's just so cool to me.
Yeah, and it should be. I mean, it is awesome, man. And I love coming over here. This is my hangout when I'm not working in Tuscaloosa. I come here and hang out with you guys. It's like I'm part of the family now. What are you looking for in today's game against Tennessee?
A dominant win. I mean, I want to see Alabama football, man. When we're inside the 5, run the ball. I mean, I know I didn't play college football. So a lot of people, a lot of the talking heads, well, you didn't play the game. I don't know. I've been watching the game for 30 years and it seems to me that when you run the football inside the 5 with a guy averaging 6 yards a carry,
that the math works for you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm dumb, but I mean, run the football. Brian Robinson, he's a workhorse this year. He's turned into a workhorse. Run the football, score points, and I want to see the defense continue to play well.
Come hang out with us at R&R Cigar, the Cigar Mansion, or over in Northport. Get your cigars for the cigar game. Alabama or Tennessee fans, who knows who's going to win, right? Alabama's favorite, but anything can happen. Pick up your cigars now. And let me remind you guys that the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sinatra, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating does not get any better. When we come back, we're going to talk with Eric Cain from The Sports Animal in Knoxville. He covers the Vols on a daily basis. We're going to get the breakdown of this Tennessee team. We got Chris Lowe. We got Chris Stewart. We got a bunch of great guests. Reagan and I will be here as well. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show after this.
Introducing Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Now available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yuengling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Genesis of Tuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Join us for Riches Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
What do you say, everybody? Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Our show is always brought to you by the great people at Yuengling Lager, and our show today from R&R Cigar, the Cigar Mansion here in downtown Tuscaloosa. It's the 3rd Saturday in October game, and our broadcast of Alabama football versus Tennessee, at least as we preview it, is brought to you by R&R and Sevierville.
This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Before we bring on our next guest to preview the Volunteers, let me remind you about Sevierville up there in the Smoky Mountains. You're talking about Smoky Mountain Winterfest, which is getting cranked up November through February. Millions of lights on the Parkway in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg. It's wonderful up there by Dollywood and all the great attractions, including Winterfest and a 1.5-mile LED Christmas drive, Shadrack's Christmas, that's up there off of exit 407, the Wilderness at the Smokies. You guys know about that, and their outdoor ice skating rink. Now's the time to get up there and visit. Between November and early January, you can actually ice skate as you hang out. And let me bring you to our good buddy, Eric Cain. You know him from Locked On Vols, his very popular podcast, or the flagship station for Tennessee, WNML Radio in Knoxville, Tennessee, to help us preview the Tennessee Vols, and my good buddy. Cainer, what's up, dude?
Hey, Mick, good to talk to you, man. Glad to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, too. And thanks for hanging out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Like and subscribe as you guys hang out or listening on our flagship station, Jocks Radio in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, across the state of Alabama. We do this before every Alabama football game. All right, let's get into it right off the bat. I mean, what a fiasco at the end of the game against Ole Miss. I thought Tennessee really should have won the game. Milton comes in, runs out of bounds. It felt like Tennessee was about to have a miracle finish, and then we were going to have everybody run on the field when they won, and that didn't happen. And then a big fine. You know, what's the fallout from the golf ball to Lane Kiffin and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been a point of conversation here in Knoxville, especially the first couple of days of the week, because that was the biggest story, you know, the biggest takeaway from that football game. It wasn't that Tennessee battled its tail off and nearly came from behind and won that game. It wasn't that, you know, Tennessee had so many guys out, and including its starting quarterback, and still almost won that game. It wasn't the officiating. It was, unfortunately, the black eye and the ugly scene of some, certainly not all, a small percentage of fans that were throwing some trash onto the field, and unfortunately led to about a 25-minute delay. So, there's been conversation. Of course, the SEC is fine. Tennessee athletics director Danny White said, okay. And it looks like everybody's just trying to move on. But also that took away from just the electric dynamite atmosphere that was Neyland Stadium on Saturday night. A sellout crowd of 102,455, fireworks show, light show, checkered Neyland. The team was let out running through the tee via spotlight. There was a flyover. I mean, it was a show, Mick. And Tennessee came out there and played well, just came up a little short.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. I mean, honestly, I was hoping that Tennessee won. It would have brought more excitement to this game when Alabama and Tennessee get together. The Tide have won 14 in a row, which is amazing to me. I still think this is my favorite rivalry. I love the Tennessee-Alabama game, but it's lost some of its luster over this streak. When I was in school, it was the other way around. Philip Fulmer had won so many that it lost its luster because Alabama couldn't live up to it. This particular Vols team, the transfer from Virginia Tech, Hendon Hooker, seems like when he's in there, he's able to run this offense. I was at the Pittsburgh game, and Joe Milton just can't throw two open targets to me. Is that kind of how you see it too?
Yeah, that's how we've seen it so far. And it took Hendon Hooker a little while to connect on the down-the-field passing, but it's there now. And early in the year, Heupel was scheming up to where Tennessee would have wide receivers running clear behind the secondary of whatever team they were playing, and Tennessee just couldn't connect on it. Joe Milton would overthrow him. Joe Milton would miss his targets, whatever it is, and a little bit with Hendon Hooker too. But that finally clicked a little bit in the Tennessee Tech game. You saw one against Florida. You saw a couple against Missouri and South Carolina, and so on and so forth. But Joe Milton has all the athletic ability in the world, just couldn't quite get it to click. Hendon Hooker came in, who had started 16 Power 5 football games and was sitting on Tennessee's bench. So an experienced guy came in and took advantage of the situation. His ability to impact the game with his legs as well is something that's really opened up this offense. So, he's probably doubtful for this game, coming up here against Alabama. But, Joe Milton's a guy that's at least started football games, has starting experience at Michigan. And if it does click, it could be really good for Milton, but it hasn't just yet.
Right. Let's talk about the offensive line. I mean, we know that Tennessee doesn't have its full complement of scholarships and that the NCAA is going to allow teams, because of all the transfers at Tennessee and some other schools, to replenish at the end of the season. But that's not going to help you right now. The offensive line with the two Mays seems like they're both hurt right now. What's the status on the O-line, other injuries going into this game?
Josh Heupel, he's been keeping it really close to the chest, as he always has, a little gamesmanship. But, Cooper Mays got hurt in quarter number 1 against Bowling Green, the opener, and he tried to come back against Florida, but he couldn't make it throughout the entire game. So Tennessee's starting center has not played really the 3 quarters this entire season. So you've been moving the left guard, Jerome Carvin, to play center, and then there's been a rotating door at left guard. Cade Mays is your best offensive lineman. He's had a fantastic season. He went out 4 minutes into the game against Ole Miss. Cooper Mays is close to coming back and ready to roll, according to Heupel. Cade Mays is day-to-day, according to Heupel. We'll have to see if either one of those guys can go. That Tennessee needs them, that's for sure. But Tennessee's still done a nice job of trying to replace those guys. Protection's been an issue the last 2 weeks, but Tennessee's been able to run the football. As far as other injuries, of course, we mentioned Hendon Hooker. We'll have to see about Tyon Evans, star running back. He missed last week's game against Ole Miss. But he has been nothing but a home run threat for Tennessee. Coming over from the junior college ranks, he's been phenomenal in this offense. Elijah Simmons on the defensive line is another guy that we'll have to see if he can be ready to go. But Tennessee was able to get back a lot of players who were hurt last week. Obviously, had the injury to Hendon Hooker, and we'll have to see about Cade Mays, Cooper Mays, and Tyon Evans.
Yeah, and already thin on defense. The seems like the defense has played, pretty well for having a lack of linebackers at the beginning of the season and not much depth.
This defense is overachieving times 10. I mean, the expectations, there were none for Tim Banks. I mean, the new defensive coordinator. You mentioned the linebackers. Tennessee lost all 4 but starting linebackers the start of the 2020 opener. Of course, you guys have one in Henry T, a really good one down there in Alabama. But what Brian John Marie has done with this linebacking groups with Jeremy Banks, Aaron Beasley, and Solon Page is nothing short of just fantastic coaching. Tennessee's developed depth in the back end now, which is really good to see. Theo Jackson, who's been here for 5 years, is their best player on defense, which is really cool to see. Alontae Taylor, of course, back there at cornerback. And then the Rodney Gardner effect in the defensive line, taking this same group that's been playing for 4 years and now turning them into making plays. Matthew Butler is going to play himself into a contract in the NFL potentially. So Tennessee overachieving on defense, playing some good ball, and playing some inspired football for Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator.
Josh Heupel seems to have kind of steadied the ship. You know, there's a lot came out about Jeremy Pruitt this week. It was interesting to see Philip Fulmer jump on him and basically say, hey, man, you blew this opportunity for yourself. And, you know, Philip Fulmer liked him. He hired him, right?
Yeah.
And then Rick Barnes, the basketball coach, same thing. It was like, you know, maybe Pruitt was kind of needling those guys to get paid out by Tennessee. What a weird situation.
It's a very weird situation. I'm surprised it took this long for a letter to be sent from Pruitt's attorney, because again, he was fired back in January. So you're talking about, about 9 months later. But nonetheless, the letter was sent. Pruitt has put Tennessee on a deadline of October the 29th to say, hey, let's reach a financial settlement or you're going to face a lawsuit. And I get the strategy from Pruitt and Michael Lyons, his attorney. You've essentially got nothing to lose. And so you're just sitting there throwing haymakers and trying to take down everybody with you. Don't feel bad for Rick Barnes and Philip Fulmer kind of going back at Jeremy Pruitt and his attorney. Tennessee certainly, it spent enough money on its own law firms over the last year to say, hey, we got a pretty good idea of what's going on, what's happened. If you want to take this thing to court, let's go. And that's kind of Tennessee's stance. So how this unfolds, if Pruitt gets any of his $12.6 million buyout, if he gets half, I don't know, but it should be interesting nonetheless.
Eric, thank you, my friend. Always great to talk to you.
Hey, let's do it again next year.
No doubt. That's Eric Cain. You know him from Locked On Vols, his podcast, or the flagship station for the Volunteers, WNML Radio in Knoxville.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans, we're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Floribama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Floribama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at floribama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We get you ready for Alabama and Tennessee. Like and subscribe as you hang out on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And if you're listening on radio, our flagship station, Jocks 2, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham. Thanks for being a part of our show. We do it every Saturday leading into the Crimson Tide, and they play tonight at 6 o'clock. Our show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager. So as you make your way to your tailgate spot, maybe in Tuscaloosa today, pick up Yuengling and you'll be a champion. Everybody will love you for it. This segment is brought to you by Hotel Indigo. That's where I stay when I'm in Tuscaloosa. It is a gorgeous place right down by the Black Warrior River. When you drive across towards City Cafe, you'll see it to your right. There's a rooftop bar, and it is a fantastic place right there by the amphitheater. It's within walking distance of downtown. You're not far from campus, and you're not far from where Alabama plays. Yeah, Bryant-Denny Stadium. And we appreciate them being a big part of our show. One more thing before we bring on Andrew Bone, and that is it's in stock right now. You can get it at New Life Art Unrivaled. That's the national championship print from last year's Crimson Tide undefeated team. And if you want to check it out, newlifeart.com, there are right now paintings ready for you to get. And all you got to do is go online or give them a call. If you want them by Christmas, you got to act soon. But you got Smitty on there, Mac, you got Najee, you got Coach Saban, the entire crew celebrating after a big championship win. Now we bring on Andrew Bone. He's the Bama Insider recruiting expert. He's our good buddy. He's been part of our show for many, many years. Bone, it's always great to see you. Alabama got some really big news. They got another blue chip defensive back that committed earlier this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big pickup for Alabama and Traquan Fagans out of Thompson High School. Actually played the last few years at Oxford High School, but transferred as a senior. Played for one of the best high school football programs in America. And Thompson High School certainly has an unbelievable defense, with Traquan Fagans, Jeremiah Alexander, who's also an Alabama commitment. And then you have a couple guys in that 2023 class that Alabama is certainly prioritizing in Peter Woods and Tony Mitchell. And all those guys are actually going to be down in Tuscaloosa today for the game. So obviously a big pickup for Alabama with Traquan Fagans, a long defensive back, tall, 6'1", about 190 pounds. Can play multiple roles in the defensive backfield. You can line him up at corner. You can line him up at safety. He can play nickel. This is just a fantastic athlete that I think Alabama coaches are really excited about. They had him in camp during the summer. They really liked what they saw, but at the same time, they already had a couple kids that were already on the commitment list. Antonio Kite had committed. You also had Jake Pope. Even though Jake Pope didn't announce his commitment until August, he had already pretty much indicated to the Alabama coaching staff that he was coming on board. And then, you still have some other guys that are out there like Earl Little Jr., who I feel like Alabama's in great shape with. And I think Alabama just wanted to, kind of pump the brakes, make sure they're making the right decision, because, you're probably only going to take one, maybe two more defensive backs in this class, in addition to Traquan Fagans, but just wanted to make sure, once they kind of went out and saw him they loved him, and he's having a great senior season, and decided to go ahead and make a strong push for him. So he decommitted from Miami about 2 weeks ago, which we kind of expected was going to happen at some point. Once we started hearing a little bit more that Alabama was really pushing hard for him, we knew that the decommitment from Miami, it was obviously struggling, was going to happen. But I think even if Miami was having some success on the field, there's probably no way Traquan was going to turn down Alabama once they really started making that strong push for him.
No doubt. As we hang out at R&R Cigar, the mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Tennessee, is the cigar game, right? The winter smoke cigars, Alabama looking for their 15th. There are a lot of big-time visitors coming to Tuscaloosa for this football game, Bone.
Absolutely. Even though Tennessee is not a top 10 ranked opponent, it's certainly going to bring in a crowd. With the rivalry, and obviously Alabama, having it as a night game, they want the recruits to experience that, because you don't always get those night games. Sometimes they're 2:30 games. Sometimes they might be a little earlier. Not too early for Alabama, but they certainly want to bring kids in for that night game and get that experience with the lights and everything, and be down on the field. It's going to be a beautiful day in Tuscaloosa, but they're going to have 5 official visitors on campus today. One's going to be Alabama commitment Amari Knee-Black, who committed to the Crimson Tide during the summer. No worries with his decision at all. He's 100% locked in. You have some other guys that are going to be in town for officials. Keontae Goodwin, who's actually a Kentucky commitment, big 6'7", 300-pound plus offensive lineman. I mean, this is a absolute monster. And Alabama's obviously recruited really well on the offensive line last year and also this year with 3 offensive line commitments. But I think they really want to get one more guy on board. Even though he's committed to Kentucky, Kentucky's having a great great senior season, great season. I think it's going to be tough to flip him. He's really pretty much locked in with the Wildcats. He's always kind of said that he's going to take visits and enjoy the process. But you never know what may happen. What if Mark Stoops potentially, gets offered, by one of these vacant head coaching jobs elsewhere? I mean, that's something to always keep in the back of your mind. And that's probably why Keontae's taking some visits, just to make sure that he's locked in with his commitment to Kentucky. But if something were to happen, he's going to have a backup plan just in case. You have a couple of defensive linemen who are going to be in Tuscaloosa: Chris McClellan out of Oklahoma, and also Isaiah Hastings out of Clearwater. Now, Isaiah Hastings is an interesting prospect because he's originally from Toronto, moved down to Clearwater for his senior season because there was no football in Canada this fall because of COVID. So he needed to get out, get somewhere, play. He's actually, at this boarding school down in Clearwater. And I think he's a very intriguing prospect, 6'4.5", 295 pounds, really has blown up as a senior, and has started collecting a lot of offers. Now, he took an official visit to Oregon last weekend. He's visited Florida a few times. It's going to be his first visit to Tuscaloosa. So they might want to pair him up with John Mechie this weekend. Get some, have a little bit of familiarity. They probably know a lot of the same spots up in Canada, so they can talk and talk about what the transition's like down in Tuscaloosa. So I think that Alabama's going to have a really good chance with him. And another intriguing prospect that's going to be in Tuscaloosa for an official visit is Chris Marshall. He's a 4-star wide receiver out of Missouri City, Texas. Been considered a Texas A&M lead throughout his whole recruitment, but Alabama's really kind of turned up the heat over the course of the last few weeks with him. Now, they've always shown interest in him, but they finally went out and saw him play last Friday night. So the interest has really increased lately, and there's definitely something to watch there with Chris Marshall this weekend, with a decision coming up in the near future. But you have those guys coming into town. Shamar James, who just decommitted from Florida this week, is going to be back in Tuscaloosa. So that's a big visit. In-state linebacker from Faith Academy down in Mobile. Mm-hmm. Who we all thought when he committed to Florida, he was going to commit to Alabama. Commits to Florida instead. Now he's back off that commitment. Now, that doesn't mean he's immediately going to commit to Alabama. Georgia has really become a strong contender in his recruitment as well. So I think it's between Alabama and Georgia, but getting him back on campus this weekend obviously is very big. And then got a lot of underclassmen that are going to be in Tuscaloosa. You have LT Overton, 5-star defensive end from Georgia, James Smith, excuse me, originally from Carver High School in Montgomery, is now playing at IMG Academy. He's going to be back in town. Peter Woods, Tony Mitchell from Thompson High School. So, just a loaded visitor weekend with a lot of top recruits in that 2022 and 2023 recruiting classes.
No doubt. Well, BoneHomeTours.com brings you on our show every week. Andrew J. Bone Real Estate Group. Tell us, as I throw the picture up here on screen, about Bone Home Tours.
Absolutely. Well, if you're looking to buy or sell any property in the Tuscaloosa or Birmingham markets, please give us a call, 205-531-5577.
All right. Thanks, Bone. Always great to catch up.
All right, Mick. Thank you very much.
And don't forget, guys, at R&R Cigar, pick up your victory cigars as Alabama takes on Tennessee. Even if you're a Tennessee fan, maybe you beat Alabama today and you need a cigar. That's in downtown Tuscaloosa. There's also a Northport location that is in the Winn-Dixie. Let me say that real fast. Winn-Dixie Shopping Center over there, or, of course, right near Home to Suites in downtown Tuscaloosa. We'll be right back. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show right after.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa near Home 2 Suites, or Northport next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Join us for Witches Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
There.
Bama Insider Tailgate Show, hanging out at R&R Cigar with Reagan. People are coming in, buying these cigars, and as we get ready to go to the second hour of the show, Reagan, this is the place you pick up your victory cigar, either the Mansion or over in Northport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. We're open till midnight tonight. Northport is both stores are open. Northport's open till 11. R&R opens if you can't make it tonight, which I don't know. You don't want to be out late. We open both stores. Game days. We're open at 9 a.m. and we're open till 11 at Northport, and we'll open the Mansion until 1 a.m. tomorrow night. So there's no reason to come by after the game and get your victory cigars if you were waiting to see how the game went.
But you can still do that.
Yeah. We'll be open 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. on game day.
All right, look, we've got like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
What cigar should people get?
Padron Damaso.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, that's the one.
Is that what the team's going to smoke? Do you know?
The team is smoking Upsetters, and I have it from a very good source that the team is smoking Upsetters.
Okay. Get a little insider information.
Yeah, me being the source. Yeah. But the team's smoking Upsetters, and I'm smoking Damasos. Damasos are my favorite cigar. Padron, everybody knows Padron. It's what everybody celebrates with. Patriots smoke Padron after they won the Super Bowl. Every team smokes Padron after they win something. Padron's the best one to do.
Chris Lowe, we got Jeff Cameron, we got Chris Stewart. Reagan and I will be back. Second hour of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up.
Yingling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans, We're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Floribama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Floribama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at floribama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Second hour of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. I want to remind you guys as we get you ready for the Crimson Tide versus the Vols of Tennessee, the annual third Saturday in October showdown that our broadcast is always presented by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And today's Alabama and Tennessee third Saturday in October showdown brought to you by R&R Cigars in Tuscaloosa and Northport, and also Visit Sevierville. And visit Sevierville.com. So this is a big one. Visit Sevierville wants to remind everyone that the Smoky Mountain Winterfest starts in November. It runs through February. Millions of lights along the Sevierville Parkway, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg. Let me also say this, that our segment is presented by the great people at Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Here's Barry Buckner.
When we say goodbye to a new owner at Genesis of Tuscaloosa, we are very sincere. They may never have to come back to the dealership. With our Genesis Valet service, we pick up your vehicle at your home or office and return it after the service. And all maintenance performed by our service department is ranked #1 in the nation. Genesis of Tuscaloosa, you're going to like buying a car here. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Genesis of Tuscaloosa, the best in town and the best in the business is our friend Chris Lowe from ESPN, senior writer that follows college football. Chris, it is always great to talk to you. How you been, my friend?
Doing great. It's the same here, Mick. It's great to be with you.
Let's talk about this Alabama and Tennessee game. First off, what happened at Neyland Stadium last week, besides the fact that they played an awesome game? It was so much fun to watch, Ole Miss and Tennessee, but things got kind of off the rails at the end.
Yeah, I'd say kind is putting it mildly. I hadn't been to a lot of Tennessee games the last few years, and so that one was pretty eye-opening because the atmosphere was great. I mean, it was the electricity. Even before the game, you could sort of feel the build-up, a night game. But I think as the game wore on, Tennessee fans getting frustrated with some of the calls, all the Ole Miss injury or fake injuries, I guess you could say, and then the scoop and score that was called back. And just let's be honest, you got a lot of guys that had probably been lubed up pretty good, student section, other fans, and just a pretty embarrassing display there in the last 54 seconds. So 15, 20 minutes of throwing stuff on the field. The game was stopped and finally restarted. I talked to Greg Sankey, I guess it was Sunday night, this past Sunday, and he said that had order not been restored within another 3-4 minutes, that he was of the mind they were just going to stop the game and Ole Miss would have been awarded the win. Now the Rebels ended up winning anyway, but no, it was an ugly scene. I don't think it's Tennessee fans. I should say not all Tennessee fans, but some Tennessee fans have sort of tried to say, well, a lot of frustration. To me, there's never any reason to throw things. Certainly from the upper deck, the lower deck, and you got to understand there are cheerleaders on the field, there are student managers, there are student trainers, there are people on the sideline, photographers. I'm just glad that no one got hurt. They had to move the Tennessee band out of the lower section, and I was on the field for the last 4 minutes. It was a pretty scary situation. Stuff being hurled from the stands, Tennessee being fined, and it's like my dad used to say, Mick, it only takes a few to screw it up for everybody. And I think that's what happened. And just, a small percentage of people throwing stuff. But now that's something that Tennessee has to live with.
Yeah, no doubt. Some people were arrested, and you mentioned there was a big fine. And that's not all the news coming out of Tennessee that has nothing to do with the football game that I'll ask you about. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt also involved in some kind of lawsuit thing going on there. I'm sure that's not going to affect the team on the field, but and you got Philip Fulmer and Coach Barnes from basketball making comments. Just not a good look for Tennessee.
Well, it's not a good look for anybody. I mean, I think both sides, and I think Tennessee knew this was coming. I think they knew that at some point that Jeremy Pruitt was going to sue, because remember, they fired him for cause. He didn't get any of his $12.6 million. I don't think anybody knew when exactly it was coming. I don't think it's any coincidence it was dropped this week after the whole embarrassing scene there at the end of the game on Saturday night. Timing's everything in all walks of life. Essentially, Jeremy's lawyer saying if you don't pay up or at least attempt to settle by, I think it's October 29th, then we're going to go scorched earth on you. We're going to everything we've got, every nugget of information, potential violations, all this, we're going to spill. And, I don't know that either side wins if this thing goes to court or discovery. There's the old saying, that if you get into a fight, two people get in a fight, Mick, and you're rolling around in a mud bog, when you get in that fight, you're both going to get dirty. And I think if that happens, I think it extends to other schools. I think there's going to be a lot of things come out that nobody in and around the SEC want to come out. What they really have, what Jeremy Pruitt's lawyer has, what he doesn't have, we can sit there and debate that all day. I can tell you, talking with Tennessee people, they're dug in. They don't, they do not plan at this point. Now, these things are fluid, but at this point, they do not plan to settle. And they feel like they have whatever Jeremy Pruitt has, they have 3 times the documentation that says, we had every right to fire him for cause.
Yeah, no doubt. We got a game to play too. And this is my favorite rivalry for Alabama in college football against Tennessee. Hasn't been much of one lately. Now, I can tell you this, when I was in school at Alabama, it was the other way around. Alabama was the team getting blown out by Tennessee, right? And it was like 8 straight wins. Alabama has almost doubled that. They're up to going on 15 straight if they win, and they're a big favorite.
Yeah, I'm 56, and I remember a lot of those years when Bama, Tennessee was a big deal on the field, but it just hasn't been a big deal on the field in a long time. And Bama has so far surpassed Tennessee in every really capacity, football-wise. Coaching, recruiting, the way they played, on big stages. Tennessee just has got a long way to get there. I talked to Coach Saban a few days ago, and he agrees with me that the league right there in the middle this year probably is as balanced as it's been. And I think when you look at the fact that A&M beat Alabama, you see, all the other teams sort of beating up on each other. Auburn beats Arkansas. Arkansas beats up on Texas A&M. Tennessee beats South Carolina badly. Vanderbilt takes South Carolina to the wire. You go on and on and on. Florida losing and giving up 49 points last week to LSU. But I don't think Tennessee's quite in that middle tier. I think Tennessee's probably in the lower tier, certainly from a personnel standpoint. Josh Heupel has done a really nice job, though, I think, of squeezing everything and then some out of his personnel. They're banged up, and I thought coming into the season that Tennessee would really struggle to make it through the year with their lack of depth and the fact that they've just lost so many players to the transfer portal. And, that catches up to you, Mick, about this time of the season. We're hitting in late October, that second half of the season. You're sort of seeing that now. And going into this game, Hendon Hooker, the quarterback, took a really nasty lick on the knee. Tennessee doesn't think it's a long-term type deal. I don't know if he plays this week. If he does, how healthy he'll be. Cade Mays, their best offensive lineman, his brother Cooper Mays, both banged up there. I don't know how, if they'll be available or not. Tyon Evans, their best player on offense, their running back, did not play against Ole Miss. So we'll see if he can come back and have a chance to play. He's got a high ankle sprain. So this is a Tennessee team that is, even going back to that Pittsburgh game where they lost the second week of the season, this is a team that's sort of a glimmer of what that team was because of all the injuries. So I'd be shocked if this is a football game or a game that's anywhere in doubt in the second half.
Yeah, Alabama's a big favorite.
And when Joe Milton came in last game, it just isn't the same offense when he's in compared to Hooker. Now, a lot can change when Alabama and Tennessee take the field at 6 o'clock, but I tend to kind of feel the same way. Let's talk about Georgia. You've been covering Georgia a lot. I mean, they're the number one team in the country. Just kind of looking around the SEC. It almost feels like it's their year. And for Alabama, even to get to that championship game, to have to beat them, they'd probably have to beat them twice. Georgia's got this defense that's so powerful.
Well, I mean, it's as good a defense as I've seen. In fact, having talked to Coach Smart earlier, I really believe if you go back, you have to go back to that Alabama and LSU defense in 2011. Those were that year they played twice. And now the offenses were different. The game was different then. It wasn't played as fast. You didn't have all these teams going hurry up and doing everything in space and all the formations. But those defenses, Bama in 11 and LSU in 11 were lights out. And I think this Georgia defense is right up there. They've got, 4, 5, 6 guys in the front seven that will play in the pros. They're deep. They're fast. I mean, you watch them run, Mick. I mean, all those guys can move. The linebackers run like safeties. And I don't know that they're great on the back end, but they're good enough because they're so good up front defensively. I think the big question with Georgia is who's their quarterback going to be? Is it going to be Stetson Bennett the rest of the way? JT Daniels, Kirby Smart telling me that he's probably as healthy as he's been right now. They've got a bye week this week. I think the reality is they may use them both depending on what the situation is. They're sort of, different types of quarterbacks. But Florida really looks like they're sort of, taking on water. That's a rivalry that you never know what might happen. But right now, Georgia's clearly the better football team between those two when they play here in 2 weeks. But hey, as we've seen this year, I mean, who would have thought that A&M would have beaten Alabama a couple of weeks ago? So Florida has in the past, that rivalry has produced some surprising outcomes. And I think that without question will be Georgia's toughest game going forward until they get to the SEC championship game. And if you ask me right now on a neutral field, Georgia's a better football team than Alabama. But I tend to think that A&M might have done a disservice to everybody else that's going to play Alabama because that team, and I know how Nick Saban and that staff work, they will be ready. He will have that team motivated, and things that they have not done as well this year, I think they'll do better down the stretch. I think Bryce Young will get better and better. They're not as dominant up front defensively as they have been in the past, but I do think they'll get better, and I think you'll see them. I'd be so very, very surprised if you don't see them win out and get to that SEC championship game and have a Georgia-Alabama game, which for Bama will be a must-win.
Yeah.
For Georgia, if they win out, it's really almost like they've got a mulligan because I think if that's a close game and Georgia's unbeaten, Georgia still would get into the playoff.
Yeah, I tend to agree. All right, well, last question before we get out of here, and I know you've got a bunch of stuff going on. Your thoughts on LSU and their coaching search?
Well, it's one of the best jobs in the country. And, is it a top 3 job? But it's a top 5 or 6 job. I don't think there's any question. It's the school in that state. You don't find many places like that in college football. Nebraska is like that. Arkansas is like that. But I think with the resources and the recruiting grounds there in LSU or in the state of Louisiana, it's right up there among the top 5 or 6. The last 3 coaches there have won national championships. I think that'll tell you something. They'll get interest from all over the country. To me, it's still Jimbo Fisher's job to say no. And I know he came out strong and said he's happy at A&M, but I can promise you this, LSU will still make a strong play for Jimbo Fisher. There's no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. I'm not saying he's going to leave A&M. I'm not predicting that, but they will make him say no. James Franklin will be right in the middle of that. Franklin will also be right in the middle of the USC coaching search. And I think Lane Kiffin is a name to watch at LSU, as well as Mel Tucker, who's done a terrific job at Michigan State. Luke Fickell possibly. Let me give you a dark horse. I don't know that he's right there at the top of the list, but if some guys turn him down, or let's say LSU, for instance, says, you know what, I don't know if we're ready to go down that road with Lane Kiffin. Mark Stoops is a guy, and I have talked to several guys in and around the industry this past week, administrators, coaches, pound for pound, I know that's the old boxing clique. He's done as good a job as anybody in what he's done in Kentucky, the way he's built that program. I think he will be a guy they will consider. Now, where he is in the pecking order, I don't know. But I think that's sort of the list. Mario Cristobal maybe on that list. But I do think James Franklin's in the catbird seat right now because you got two premier jobs open. If he does indeed want to leave Penn State, I think it could be to the point if Jimbo doesn't say no to LSU. I think it could be a case where Franklin could have his choice between SC and LSU.
How about that? Chris, what are you working on? What can people read that you have posted at ESPN?
Well, I'm actually spending a couple of days here in Georgia. Got some stories running on the Dogs and Kirby Smart and their defense and some other things. So that's what's coming down. And then next week probably will be at can we still call it the cocktail party?
I do. You can call it right on this show. You can call it that. It is the cocktail
the Georgia
party.
Florida game, which is a lot like I've been blessed to go to that game before, and the Texas OU game, and those are sort of two games that there are no other games in college football like that played in a neutral site in those settings. So that's always one I look forward to. You just got to leave about 10 hours before the game, Mick, or you won't make it to kickoff. The traffic is brutal there in Jacksonville getting to that game.
I can imagine. Well, Chris, always great to see you.
Same here, man. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, anytime, man. Love having you on here. That's Chris Lowe from ESPN. When we come back, Jeff Cameron, we're going to pick the games. We got Chris Stewart coming up, and then more action from R&R Cigar. The cigar game, Alabama and Tennessee, the third Saturday in October showdown, 6 o'clock.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Join us for Witch's Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show as we get you ready for Alabama and Tennessee. Number 4, Alabama against the Volunteers, and this is the annual third Saturday in October game. Brought to you by R&R Cigar and Visit Sevierville, Tennessee. It's always great to talk with Jeff Cameron. And Jeff, you're a big golf guy.
Yeah.
This segment, of course, is brought to you by the Sportsbook at Timeout Lounge, Pearl River Resort. And you know this, Jeff. If you play $50 worth at the Timeout Lounge, at the Sportsbook, you can play Dancing Rabbit Golf Course for just $25, as you see in the picture there.
$25 is no money to play a course that's that beautiful. I'm in, Mick. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, look at that shot there. For those of you that are watching on Bama Insider on the YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up. And if you're listening on Jocks 2 Radio or across the state of Alabama, find out more at Pearl River Resort, Dancing Rabbit. It's one of the best golf courses in Mississippi. All right, let's talk about gambling. That's what we do every week. Jeff and I are doing the skins game of picking contests. Jeff, of course, you know him from the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 in Tallahassee, from Sirius XM. He's a host there, warchant.com, and the College Sportsbook. All right, last week, Jeff, the totals look like this. I went 3-1 with NC State, Ole Miss, and Bama first quarter cover. I lost the Arizona State game. That would have gotten me a 4-0 week. Instead, Utah spoiled it. You went 2-2. You had NC State and Utah, and you lost with Tennessee and Nebraska, who lost to Minnesota. Still a very tight race here. I'm 16-12. You're 14-14. So 2 games separate us. So this is really an exciting stretch. I mean, I guess we're past the midway point, right? Going into week 8.
The time has flown past, and I'm just middling at 500, not making the people any money at all, Mick. We gotta do some things here. I gotta branch out and have an over 500 week. I tell you, Nebraska let me down big last week. I'm off of Scott Frost and Adrian Martinez. I'm done. They had a great run for me. I trusted them to go win that game on the road against Minnesota before their bye week, and they laid an egg. They were awful. Cost me dearly, or else I would have gone 3-1. So I was good on Utah, and you know this, Mick, from the College Sportsbook that we do together. I had Utah to win the division in the Pac-12 South there at plus 600 before the year. That was a big win for the Utes, buddy. Cameron Rising has changed their fortunes at quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
You're right on there, and I would not be surprised in that league if they don't end up winning it. There's really no telling. All right, let's get into week 8 games. Utah State is, see where my brain is. Oklahoma State is at ISU, right? Iowa State, and Iowa State is a 7-point home favorite. This game seems just so weird to me. Of course, Oklahoma State right now is nationally ranked at number 8. They're 9 in the AP poll. They beat Texas last week, 32-24. Iowa State coming off of a 33-20 win over Kansas State last week. I'll go first and just kind of set this one up. Oklahoma State has won their last 4 meetings in Ames. It was 2011. They won in double overtime. 37-30, right? When Iowa State beat Oklahoma State to help Alabama get into the national championship game. That kept the Cowboys out. You got Jalen Warren, who has been handed the ball over 75% of the plays that he's been in for Okie State this year. So they really like to feed him the rock. So he's like at 164 yards plus in his last 4 games running the ball. The problem is that Iowa State has the best rushing defense in the league. You know, they're only allowing 2.84 yards per carry. And then you got Spencer Sanders, who's only completing 60% of his passes, right? 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So the question is, you know, how is Oklahoma State nationally ranked and unbeaten? I don't know. I mean, but they're finding a way to win. Breece Hall has been great for Iowa State, 10 touchdowns, closing in on 750 yards on the ground. We know about Brock Purdy, their quarterback. But the problem that they're going to have Iowa State is that Oklahoma State leads the Big 12 in sacks with 19, 3 per game. And all this means is I'm going to take Oklahoma State. Give me the 7 on the road.
Yeah, 7 is rich, so I'm going to take the 7 as well. We're going to be on the same side here. I would say this. If you can get the number, and I saw it a few places, as always, folks shop around. If you can get this at under 7, if you can get it at 6 or 5.5, I would probably lay that. I do feel Oklahoma State, while impressive to be undefeated at this point, is a little bit of a mirage. I'm not a big believer in that offense at all, but I do think this is 7's too rich, so I'm going to side with you on this one.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, you go up with this game next. LSU at number 13, Ole Miss. I got it at 9.5 right now. Ole Miss, a home favorite, and of course, Ed Orgeron's not going to be the coach at LSU next year. I don't know how that factors in. What do you think?
I think Ole Miss is going to run away and hide in this game. I think they'll beat LSU down here. I think LSU gave what they had left to give last week against Florida. That was a huge win in a rivalry game and an upset win at that. But if you looked, Mick, half that Florida should be ashamed of themselves. Dan Mullen, that's a bad loss. Half of LSU starters didn't play in the game, and they won that game. So that's an ugly look for Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ole Miss's offense will hum here. I think LSU returns, falls back to earth. I like Ole Miss. I'll lay anything under 10, I'm laying. So I'll do that here. I like Ole Miss to win the game big. Corral has been great at quarterback. I just don't see LSU as banged up as they are being able to match that intensity away from home that they had last weekend. Give me Ole Miss here and lay the 9.
Look, I appreciate what LSU did last week. They beat number 20 Florida, a team that you're not very fond of, 49-42. What a crazy game. And that was one of those games that I felt very strongly about, just hanging around and taking LSU and seeing how big that number got to Saturday. Yeah. And it paid off. Not only did they cover, but they won the football game. Of course, Ole Miss had that crazy game against Tennessee. They won 31-26. Tennessee could have won it. The question I have is Matt Corral. I mean, the signal caller, Heisman Trophy caliber type quarterback, who had to run for his life last week. As a matter of fact, there were just so many injuries with Ole Miss. He had to run and just keep running the ball. So he threw for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he ran for 195 yards. And then Lane Kiffin at the beginning of the week was like, I don't know what we're going to have with Corral. So I think that really factors in to this game. Last year, LSU was awful, and they still beat Ole Miss 53-48. So I think they're going to be able to score some points. LSU is 4-0-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against Ole Miss. The Tigers are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games following a straight-up win. And the Rebels are 1-5 against the spread in their last 5 conference games, right? In this series, the underdog is 15-6 against the spread in their last 21 meetings. Give me LSU and the points.
All right. Good. We got one to circle.
We got one to circle. All right. Clemson at Pittsburgh. I'm going right into your wheelhouse with this one, Jeff. It's a 3-point spread. Pittsburgh is the home favorite, right? And how about Clemson being the underdog? But, and I'll go first. Look, the Tigers scratched out a 17-14 victory in Syracuse. It didn't look very good. They didn't cover anywhere close to the 13.5-point spread. They failed to cover in 6 tries this season, Clemson. The under is like cashing in every week. And I saw the Panthers play Tennessee earlier this year. They had another dominant win on the road. They beat Virginia Tech, who I think is a decent team, 28-7. Everybody talked about Pittsburgh being a veteran team. They've covered now in 3 straight, 5 of 6 overall. The under's hitting a lot as well. And Pittsburgh is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games. Head to head, these teams have only played a few times, right? Clemson defeated Pittsburgh. Blew them out 52-17 the last time they played in November of 2020. And but Clemson 0-7 against the spread in their last 7 games, and Pittsburgh is 6-1 against the spread. I was gonna take Clemson. And then I did the research, and I'm like, I am going with the numbers here. Give me Pitt. I don't care what the uniforms look like. Pitt's the better team. I'm giving up the 3.
I'm going to give up 3 as well. At some point, we just have to accept that Clemson isn't very good. It's hard to wrap your mind around. You can't understand it. But go all the way back, Mick, to the Georgia game where they didn't score a single offensive point. Well, they did kick a field goal, forgive me, but they did not score a touchdown. And we thought at that time, well, there's no shame in that. It's Georgia, right? But ever since that game, Clemson hasn't been able to score. They narrowly escaped 14-8 against Georgia Tech. They looked terrible again against Syracuse last week. Probably should have lost that game. They should have lost to Boston College, and that game was at home. Kenny Pickett's the best quarterback in the ACC. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. This is a guy that's thrown for nearly 2,000 yards already this year. He averages 322 through the air per game, 21 touchdowns to 1 interception. This guy's kind of an outside fringe Heisman candidate. He's a really good player, and they are at home. I like him here. I'm going to lay the 3 as well.
All right, lock of the week time. You go first.
NC State to blow the doors off the Miami Hurricanes, who are done. That is a team that lost yet another heartbreaking game last weekend to North Carolina. There they were driving for the go-ahead score late, and they throw an interception. They just lost their running back for the season. Cameron Harris is done. So now they've lost their starting quarterback, their starting running back, a couple of offensive linemen. I think this is the classic Miami team that packs it in when the adversity hits. Give me North Carolina State, possibly the best team in the ACC, to win comfortably. I'll lay the 3 points with NC State on the road against Miami.
And don't forget, I said earlier this year, right, on this show that I think NC State could win the ACC. Then they went out and lost to Mississippi State. Hey, there you go, Mick. All right, look, my lock of the week is number 2, Cincinnati. I'm giving up 37.5 at Navy. I hate to do that. I don't like giving up the big number, but I just think that the Bearcats are going to keep this roll going. They know they have to cover. Last time out, they destroyed UCF 56-21. I love Desmond Ridder. We talked about him on this show many times. He's 13 touchdowns, 1,044 yards and only 2 interceptions. So, you got Jerome Ford, the Alabama transfer, that is at 12 touchdowns and over 700 yards on the ground this year. And Navy just stinks. Look, they got beaten up by Memphis 35-17 their last time out. They have the option, but they don't run it really well. I do love James Harris II. He's a fun guy to watch, but I just don't think that the midshipmen are going to be able to do much in this ball game. Last time they played, Cincinnati beat them 42-0. That was in 2018. Cincinnati has a lot more to play for right now. They're also 5-1 against the spread this season. Not only are they 5-1 against the spread, but they covered the spread by a 10-point plus margin. I think they're going to add to that. Give me the Bearcats, and I'm giving up the 27.5.
Well, you've wisened up, Mick. You've wisened up. You wouldn't take him against Notre Dame, but now you're in. Now you got him. Good call. Good call.
That was one of those wins for you. Guys, don't forget that the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino in Choctaw. Now's a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Lounge and Sportsbook. Jeff, always great hanging out, man. Thank you, brother. Let's do it again next week. Actually, not next week, the week after next. We're off next week.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure, Mick. Have a great weekend, buddy. Be good, man.
Don't forget, we got more coming up. Alabama and Tennessee right here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Join us for Riches Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yuengling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa near Home 2 Suites, or Northport next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The lookout bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
The world-famous Floribama has been serving up the good times and good music since 1964. And after 57 years, we're not even close to slowing down. There's live music 365 days a year and big events all year long, including the Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival. Mark your calendar and make plans to join us on the line November 4th through the 14th for a music lovers event like no other. You'll hear the stories behind the songs from the songwriters themselves. It's a full 10 days of incredible entertainment. Make plans to join us and get all the info online at frankbrownsongwriters.com.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Number 5, Alabama versus Tennessee, 6 o'clock kickoff. And this matchup is driven by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Before we talk to Chris Stewart, let's hear from our good buddy Barry Buckner as we get you ready for Crimson Tide football.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year. And to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Always good to hear from Barry Buckner. Let me tell you about Tuscaloosa Hyundai. You're talking about the Elantra, the Sinatra, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating doesn't get any better. Guys, like and subscribe as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And don't forget, each and every day, our buddy Jay Barker and his show is available right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel from 12 to 2. All right, let's talk to Chris Stewart from the Crimson Tide Sports Network, hanging out with us on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Chris, always great to talk, man. How you been?
Me too, buddy. Man, we need to do these more frequently just so we can catch up, because we spend a half hour talking and then we ultimately get around to doing the interview for the show. And I'm fine with it, man. Miss talking to you so much.
And my old partner, it is like old times every time we do one of these things. And if we just put the other stuff on, it'd be more interesting than actually talking about the football game.
It'd be more interesting. It would also make us highly unemployable. It would or highly unemployable. That's right.
I know what you mean. Well, let's talk about Tennessee and Alabama. And Chris, I had to bring you on because I've got to convince people that this is still a rivalry. Alabama's going for 15 straight. I just can't believe it.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it, beyond belief, because I remind people all the time I used to take the phone calls on the post-game show for the Crimson Tide Sports Network before Nick Saban's arrival. So I know all too well what it's like to deal with Bama fans after the misery of losing to Tennessee and to a few others. But it was not a good time. And I think, frankly, Bama fans still that remember the lean years, the dark years, were aided somewhat by Phil Fulmer with conversations that he had with the SEC office, the NCAA, and right or wrong, whether they're accurate or not, Bama fans feel that way. And if you ever saw the movie Air Force One, where the Secret Service guy who was the one that that really allowed all of the sequence of events to take place that wound up with Air Force One being taken captive by the hostages or the hostage takers, and then the guy who caused all of it is the one that went down with the plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Bama fans feel about Phil Fulmer being at Tennessee. They felt like he was the last one on the plane as it went down, and it's still submerging, I think, as last weekend may have proven.
Yeah, what an event at Neyland Stadium last week, right? Mm-hmm. Alabama, I just don't see it, Chris. I don't see Alabama not being prepared for this game after the loss to Texas A&M. They seemed very focused against Mississippi State. That was on the road. This is the first game back home. It's a 4-game series, right? Yeah, you got this one, LSU, New Mexico State, Arkansas. I would say series, homestand, whatever you call it in football. But I just think they're going to be motivated. I just don't think Tennessee's going to come in here and sneak up on them like Texas A&M.
I don't think so either. I think A&M, look, here's the deal with A&M. They had lost 2 games. They were reeling from that, but it didn't change the fact that what they had prepped for 6 months from a motivational standpoint anyway was the game with Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And so if anything, it gave it a greater sense of urgency. They had no pressure on them because nobody expected them. Their own fans didn't think they had a chance. I know that for a fact from interacting with them when we got to College Station. I don't mean that in a condescending way at all. It was just a reality. That was truly how they felt. So they didn't have a ton of pressure. They came out in a good team, a talented team, figured it out and took it to Alabama in the first half and came back to their credit to win it. This is a different dynamic. Tennessee, I think, is a decent football team. I don't think they're as good as Texas A&M. I don't think they're anywhere near as physical or as strong, but they're better than they've been. And if Alabama plays like they did against A&M, they could have a very difficult day. But I'm with you. I think they will be much more focused than we saw them the week of the trip to College Station. And I think they'll be ready. And you're right. Alabama fans that have been around, this one still means a whole heck of a lot.
He's Chris Stewart from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We appreciate you listening on Jocks 2 Radio, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, or anywhere across the state of Alabama. And if you're watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe as we get you ready for Alabama and Tennessee. Chris, I look at Alabama's offense, and without Jace McClellan, it's just so different to me. I think that's a huge loss, and it's been understated that he's not available. I'm still waiting to see who's going to step up and take that spot, which I'm guessing it's Roydell Williams. But Alabama seems to be relying heavily on Brian Robinson in this just forward running attack now.
Yeah, I agree. And look, there are a lot of teams that would love to have the problem of only having Brian Robinson as a primary option and carrying the ball 20 to 30 times a game like he's going to have to do for this squad going forward. He's really good. He's capable of handling this role, but I don't think there's any doubt this was a better, more diverse offensive unit with Jace McClellan available to them. And now that he's gone, you're right. It's going to take Roydell Williams stepping up. They need the learning curve to catch up very, very quickly where he's concerned, because you do need to give Brian some help. God forbid if something happens and he's not able to go at the rate he's been going.
Wow.
Then somebody else has got to be there. But I think he's capable of handling what's being asked of him right now. And you're better with McClellan, but you're not suffering with Brian Robinson getting more carries. You just got to have somebody else to go there with him.
All right, final question. Heisman hopefuls. How about 2 on Alabama's team? And it's like they have a star on both sides. Of course, Bryce Young, the quarterback, has been amazing. And then Will Anderson on defense. Your take on both of those guys and a shot to maybe be Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, they're so tough to win on the defensive side, and even tougher when you're kind of splitting the vote, if you will, within your own region and certainly on your own roster. And if they continue to have the type seasons they're having, they're going, and Bama as a team is doing what they're trending towards, then they will certainly be in the conversation. It wouldn't be stunned to see them both wind up in New York. But at the same time, I think that it would lend itself more to Bryce because of the position. I think also, unfortunately, it works against both of them that they're at Alabama. You can call it Bama fatigue. I don't know if that's the right word, but I don't know of anything better for it. That while you certainly get a lot of attention because you play for the Crimson Tide, I think there are voters that will try to pick apart things a little more finely than they would if you're at another school, just because of the amount of success that Alabama's had.
Chris, always great talking to you, my friend.
You too, buddy. Thanks for having me.
That's Chris Stewart from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. R&R Cigar. We're going to have to get over with Chris and pick up some cigars. If Alabama wins, it'd be a victory cigar, and it'd be number 15. He tells me that he smokes a cigar once a year, and I guess that is today.
Yeah,
hey,
brother.
That's it, right?
That's it.
When we come back, we'll finish up the show and turn things over on a Saturday. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Floribama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Floribama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at Floribama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
Starting to go.
All right, there he is, Reagan Starner. I'm Mick Gillispie. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We're talking to you from R&R Cigar. We're at the Cigar Mansion.
The mansion.
You got your dad and mom.
Yep. They're in
Randy and
Northport.
Debbie over in Northport.
Thank you for remembering that.
Yes, look, man, everybody's working. I see
look,
Leslie right
I know.
here.
She
handing
just
out
brought
the-
me. She just brought me the Padron Damaso.
Look at that.
That's the victory cigar for
Is it
today.
the official victory cigar for Alabama and Tennessee? This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. And you guys know this is the cigar game, right?
Yep.
I mean, this has kind of been this is my favorite football rivalry. I mean, I love this game, and I love the fact that, you know, that this game means so much. And what I want to tell you guys is that R&R Cigar invites you to come down to the Cigar Mansions where we're at right now, or the newest location in Northport. 2 locations serving Tuscaloosa, Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon selection in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R Cigar. Get a cigar and a Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. That's 2703 6th Street, Tuscaloosa, downtown near home, the suites, or thecigarmansion.com. 2 locations, Tuscaloosa and Northport.
Yes.
All right, Reagan, let's talk about this football game. Alabama and Tennessee. You're talking about Alabama trying to kind of pick things back up after winning last week at Mississippi State. Tennessee had all of those issues off the field, but this is a dangerous Tennessee team as well because they can throw the ball, they like to go deep, and they're unpredictable.
Okay.
You don't believe that.
I mean, you look at the teams that they did it to, right? I mean, that's what I look at, right? Look at the teams they did it to. Look at the teams they lost to, right? I mean, you know, congratulations on a good game versus Ole Miss. Alabama whooped Ole Miss. So I don't know. I mean, I'm more of a bigger homer than a lot of people probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't see it. I don't see it, and Vegas doesn't see it.
Mm-mm.
Vegas
definitely doesn't see it.
Yeah. So and there's a reason that they build those giant casinos, and it's not because of Tennessee fans saying that they're going to cover.
Right.
What
would Tennessee have to do to be able to hang with Alabama in this football game? 6:00 at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
It's like A&M. The A&M quarterback had to play the game of his life. I mean, and he did. And A&M's defense had to play the game of their life, and they did. And Alabama had to play one of the worst games that they've played in a while, and they did. I mean, in order to beat Alabama, it takes an incredible amount of luck because Alabama is so much more talented than virtually every team, Georgia being the big exception.
Right.
And I still think they're more talented than Georgia, especially at the skill positions in the quarterback. But if you want to beat Alabama, you have to play out of your minds. I mean, and if you look at the losses that Alabama's had,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was so much of Alabama doing making stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Texas A&M not running the ball inside the 5.
Right, not running the ball, the 2 turnovers.
Yep. And kicking field goals from inside the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then, I mean, when Alabama lost to Johnny Manziel, I mean, he played out of his mind.
Yeah.
And that's really, like, if you're going to play Alabama, you cannot make mistakes. There's no room for error when you're playing Nick Saban, and you have to make Alabama. You have to play a flawless game, and you have to make Alabama Alabama has to play really, really below what they're capable
mm-hmm.
of.
But I guess when you see Alabama lose a game like Texas A&M, you realize that it's possible that they do lose. Nick Saban, though, has made a career on having teams that lose and then bounce back in a major way. I mean, that's kind of, when you win 7 championships and 5 of them the team's lost.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells you that, you lose, but you're not out of it yet.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think the A&M loss stings more because it was, he had that 100-game unbeaten streak versus unranked teams.
Yeah.
And A&M is was unranked, right? Arguably should have still been in the top 25, and so that one stung more. And it was, the first time he lost to an assistant. And I'm pretty sure that if Nick had to pick an assistant to be the first one to lose to, I would be willing to bet that it's Jimbo,
mm-hmm.
Because they're, they
Jimbo's a respectable guy. He likes him.
Well, and I think I've always felt like Jimbo had the best parts of Bobby Bowden and the best parts of Nick Saban, the 2 coaches that he coached
mm-hmm.
under, and then at the same time had the worst parts of both of those coaches, that he struggled with, but I think that was a fluke. I think if Alabama plays A&M 99 times out of 100, I think they win that game.
I agree, man. But I look at it too, and I go, that game in particular, what we didn't estimate was the impact that Jace McClellan had on the offense. You blitz and they would just flip the ball to him, and he'd run down the field and make plays. I mean, he's such a different back than Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson's kind of this super veteran. I'll say super because he got the 6th year. He stuck around. You hand him the ball off, he goes straight ahead. He doesn't have breakaway speed, but he's scored a lot of touchdowns. He's tough to bring down, and he doesn't turn it over, right? And then Jace was the guy, you just flip the ball to. He makes a couple guys miss. And now you look at it and you go, okay, you're down to Roydell Williams and Trey Sanders.
And Trey Sanders might be the most talented back on the roster.
Right, but he really hasn't turned that into an Alabama career yet. So it's like Roydell, and there's so much more to a Nick Saban running back than just handing them the ball or throwing him the ball. I mean, you got to block, and that's what Brian Robinson has done so well for this team. You're limited in his explosive breakaway skills, but the other things he just does so consistently, you feel so much more comfortable having him in there.
Well, and that you can hand him the ball 30 times a game and he's not going to break, which is, that the Derrick Henry's Heisman campaign,
Same thing.
They were going to run Derrick Henry and run Derrick Henry and run Derrick Henry.
Yep.
And, he was going to carry it 40 to 50 times a game, and Brian Robinson's that same type of workhorse. And he's averaging over 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Which is, that's phenomenal.
Yep. Well, they say trust the process.
Yep.
And he's a great example of that. Mac Jones, you were on the Mac Jones train very early.
Yes.
And I remember that, years ago, you're like, hey, Mac Jones is better than Tua. I thought you were crazy. But you're right. Really, as much as I love Tua, and he's one of my favorite Alabama players, Mac Jones had a better Alabama career. Even though it was one season, it was an incredible one season.
And he's going to have a better NFL career.
I agree. And he's on the right team. On top of that, he's just more consistent throwing the football, and he's injury-free. Yeah. But, here we are looking at Brian Robinson, wondering if it's Roydell Williams, if it's Trey Sanders, but Alabama's going to have one of those guys step up. The other thing is that, before we get into our game predictions, it's receivers. Jamison Williams has been great. He's the transfer from Ohio State. He's made an impact. And then, we're kind of, is John Mechie the guy? He had a really good game last week. Saban said he's had some injury issues. And then we got all these talented, 4 and 5 star receivers, and none of those guys have kind of made their presence yet. And some of them have been frustrated. Jai Hall, he was talking about the tweet that we had, Javon Baker, where's he been? So there's other guys that want the opportunity. Someone's going to have to take that opportunity, I think, on offense from that receiver spot.
Yeah. And, and that was one of the best things that with the wide receivers too. Another thing that goes underappreciated, and this is no dig at Hallman Wiggins, but you think about when they had the right outs, and how I remember how Locks, you got 4 guys that were all first round picks.
Yeah, right.
You got 4 of them, and they were all studs. And you had to be, have to manage their expectations in that type of offense, especially. And I think that's probably one of the hardest parts with these wide receivers is managing their expectations and keeping them engaged. And that's a hard, I don't envy Hallman Wiggins at all with, what he's got to do, with all the stuff he's got to deal with. But, and that's the thing, I've talked to so many parents because they come through here.
Right.
And, and getting the kids to buy in on the sitting, just because it takes a lot for you to come in as a freshman and start,
it's a lot of guys.
Even Bryce, he had to sit for a year, and sat to a guy that Bryce might have been done as good as Mac did last year. Bryce would be better this year if he played last year. But look, Mac almost had a Heisman season last year.
Yeah.
And just because you sit doesn't mean that you're not talented enough to play. It just means, hey, your time will come. And, and I think that's for a lot of these young receivers, they're gonna step up. And it's still early in the season for a lot of these kids,
or early in their careers.
Yes, absolutely. And so, they got to understand what you're 6 games in or 7 games in, just because you're not on the field now doesn't mean that by Auburn you're not going to be starting.
Yeah, or when you get your chance, it's not going to be a big spot. All right, for our radio audience, it's time to pick the game.
I like Alabama 42-14.
So you think another blowout for Alabama?
I really do. I just don't see it. That roster is bad. And you look at the guys. Cade Mays is out. There's a lot of guys that they're going to be missing, and so
we don't know if Hooker's going to play.
Yeah. How long does he play?
Both Mays on the offensive line,
yeah.
Right? If he comes in, is it a waste for Tennessee? Is he going to get hurt more? Maybe it's a good week to let Milton play and see what he can do.
Yeah, I just don't see it. And I think Alabama will really have their way with Tennessee's defense.
I agree. I think Alabama's going to roll today, 15 straight, which will be extending the all-time record against the Volunteers. Reagan, always awesome to come here and people pick up your Victory cigars, whether you're Alabama or Tennessee. You can come by Northport or right here at the Cigar Mansion.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right, that's Reagan Starner. I'm Mick Gillispie. Don't forget, after the game, we will be at Westgate Luxury Condominiums right next to Bryant-Denny Stadium, and we will have the post-game show. Kyle Henderson, Tony Sukalis, and myself will be there. We'll be breaking it all down. We'll have the Nick Saban press conference. We'll be doing all of that from Westgate. So as soon as if you're watching the game at home, all you got to do is flip on the YouTube channel. I know a lot of you guys do that, and you're ready to call in. We'll take your calls as well. We also have the Sunday night call-in show at 6 o'clock. Monday night quarterback. We got a lot of stuff going on. Andrew Bone has his show on Tuesday. Kyle does his call prediction on Wednesday. Now, all that's thrown off because Alabama is going into an off week, but we do appreciate all of you guys for being a part of it. And we appreciate all of our great sponsors, R&R Cigar and Visit Sevierville for sponsoring the third Saturday in October showdown. Yuengling Lager, the oldest American brewery, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. We got Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Timeout Lounge and everyone else for being a big part of this. As you guys can see that you're watching, the Cigar Mansion is starting to heat back up again. So have a great game day. Alabama and Tennessee play approximately at 6 o'clock. That's the kickoff at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So for Reagan, Starner, and our entire crew, I'm Mick Gillispie. Roll Tide, everybody. If you stuck around, you want to do overtime? You want to do bonus? You want a bonus? I got Tony Sukalis here.
Yeah.
Do you have time?
I have time.
Let's do a bonus.
I got time.
For you guys that are hanging out with us right now, it's bonus time. Tony, we're going to bring you on here in a minute. We got Reagan over here. Let's just talk.
Tony is drinking. Can you see him? Is he in there? He's drinking one of our barrel picks with Woodford Double Oak. Is it good?
It's amazing.
Yeah. Did we pick good?
You picked amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You got the Woodford shirt.
Yeah.
You got the Woodford shirt. Yeah.
142 bourbons currently.
Yeah.
Is that what you got here? Pretty damn good. And we have 75 single malt scotches. So over 200, bourbons and scotches.
Look, I love coming over here. We had the whole crew here last year.
88 beers.
Kyle was over here. We had Trey over here. I know I miss Fluff a lot. I know you do too. We all miss Fluff.
That's been one of the toughest parts about this Tennessee game has been not having Luke here. Yeah. He was such a good kid. He was my best friend. And but Tennessee was one of his favorite weekends.
Yeah.
Every year in and year out, he loved Tennessee, and he would hang out here all day. Right. Well, tonight he would have left for the tip-off, for Tide tip-off. He would have for the hoops.
But he came back. He'd have came back.
Oh, we'd have been back, and then we would have been drinking champagne, celebrating, record-setting day at the mansion.
Right.
And smoking the best cigars that we have. Like I have a special box of cigars that I purchased just for this weekend. That I purchased from somebody else.
Right.
Because it was it was something that we sold out of, and I really wanted them. But he was here. I mean, one year we goofed. We were joking around on Twitter, and I tweeted out, "Come meet Fluffopotamus, and he will be here all day signing pictures." And then somebody actually came in, and we were like, man, we were just joking about him signing pictures. He was like, I wanted to. And so Luke signed something for him and took a picture with him. And but that was Tennessee game, man. We had so many memories. I remember last year, we were sitting out here listening to music, and we had set a record for R&R. And it was amazing.
What a great guy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many 23-year-olds that get into my crew. I mean, I'm a lot older than that. You got to be a pretty cool dude to be part of, you know what I'm saying? And he just was that guy, man. Special dude. I mean, we all kind of think about him a lot.
I mean, I met him.
He's your best friend, but I know him from you, and so does Tony over here.
Yeah, because y'all met him here was the first time y'all had met
him. A staff meeting. It just, it just came
and then we sat him upstairs.
And I also knew him a lot. He'd come by. He was a nice guy. He'd come by after all, after we talked to Oates and stuff.
Yeah.
He'd come by and, he knew we were busy.
Kind of come in and hang out.
But you got to actually see him as a normal person, not the basketball super fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I wish a lot of people had gotten to see was him as a person.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody saw him as the super fan, right? And that's what, I mean, look, he got wildly popular because he was the super fan when there were no Bama basketball fans.
The only guy. I mean, I'm going to turn this on you, Tony, just so you have a camera here.
Are we live?
We're live. This is like the post game show.
Yeah.
There.
We're just hanging.
We're just hanging there. This is for all the people that stuck.
He call you by your first name, even if
Yeah.
he doesn't really know you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of rare, and especially for people his age.
Yeah.
You know? And he was kind of a guy that would always, once he knew your name, he would always refer to you as your name, and he wouldn't forget it. And you really felt like you knew him the second time you met him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. And he would always shake your hand. Mm-hmm. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
And he always really did, and he really did have that old soul. Good to meet you. You know,
my favorite memory with Fluff.
I dropped your cigar.
I saw that. Is when Rocky Del Davis did the comedy show out here, right?
Yeah.
And we were all sitting in the back. It was Fluff and me, and the sports agent,
Josh Jacobs' agent.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs' agent. And Rocky Del Davis made fun of all of us.
Yes.
Just went straight down the line,
Yeah, made fun of Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, made fun of Ryan Anderson too.
Yeah.
But
Ryan Anderson walked into the comedy show and he was late. And Rocky Dale Davis did a whole bit about, now the show can start that Mr. Ryan Anderson is here.
Well, he looked at us and he was like, there are three very different white people here.
Yeah. He did.
Me, Fluff, we were like it was so funny, man. Like we all just took it in stride. It's
and he got so excited to meet people, right? I mean, and that's what's crazy, right? So I've had a lot of people come in this week and they've been talking about, Luke, a lot of people. I know he was your best friend and I'm really sorry for your loss. And, what did he like to smoke? And I hate telling people what other people like to smoke, right? Yeah, it rubs me the wrong way, but I get it. They're like, what was his favorite cigar? I want to smoke a cigar for him. Yeah. But I have had so many people come through. Like I had a guy the other day, he was like, yeah, me and my son met him up at Rupp Arena and he took a picture with us and he was so cool. And, he did the whole thing with my son and my son thought it was the coolest because my son thought he was awesome because he's the super fan. Yeah. And, and I've had a lot of people like that this week that have just come in and told their Luke stories and it makes me miss him even more. And, and it's, but he got so excited to meet people, right? And then he would get so excited to meet like famous people too, right? Like, and it's like, pal, you're on TV more than that dude is,
right? You got gifts, man.
Yeah, and it was like that'll in 20 years, Luke, you'll probably be like them, and he would geek out, man. Like, there was a very famous broadcaster that was here. And Luke was I literally had to tell Luke, like, you cannot go into the humidor with him and start like gushing. And Luke was literally just like he's like, oh, I really want to meet it. Like, he's like, I want to talk baseball with him because he did the call for a postseason game. He's like, I want to talk to him about that. And I was just like, pal, like, relax. Like, I will introduce you to him. Like, if you will just calm down, just
like chill, dude.
Yeah,
love him, man.
Like, we want the guy to be comfortable here before we, let his biggest fan meet him. But he really did. He got so excited about it. He'd be like, like when you guys were talking to him about doing the, the thing for hoops. Oh, he thought it was the coolest. He was so excited. He was like, can you believe that the BamaInsider people want me to talk about hoops? And I'm like, yeah, Luke, I can't believe that they want the biggest Alabama basketball fan to talk hoops, right?
Be on our podcast.
Yeah, he was like, he was like, they want me to be on their podcast. Can you believe that?
I actually thought it was cool the we had him on our podcast.
Exactly. Like that was the thing, right? It was like that. I felt like that was a good get for you guys.
It was.
But he was like, you were doing him a favor.
Yeah.
And he was so full of life, so full of energy. And I hate that I won't be able to smoke a cigar with him this year.
Well, I know, me too, man. I did the vaccine, I was kind of not sure what to do. And then, that happened and it just changed my life on it. Like I just have changed the way I think about those things. And I'm glad I did. I got sick. I got COVID and I was glad I had it, and that's everybody's personal decision to make. I'm not, but when I got to sit there and just like all of us do with Fluff and miss him, it's like, if I got a chance to do that for my family, I want to do that.
Sure.
We didn't have that option then. That was before the vaccine came out.
No. And then that's the thing that sucks, right?
Yeah.
It was available in his home of North Carolina,
but it just wasn't here yet.
It wasn't available for people his age here.
Yeah.
North Carolina had it open for everybody. And, he couldn't, he was in school. He couldn't go home just to go get the vaccine. But he wanted it. He wanted it. He was dying to get it.
I know. And I saw he wore a mask all the time.
All the time. He took it seriously.
Yeah, he did.
He really did.
Miss him, man. I mean, I know you do too. I know we've talked about him in our meetings, our BamaInsider meetings. Yeah. We all loved him, man. Like you could not love the guy.
No, but I mean, that guy is responsible for more Rocky Patel 1999s getting sold than anybody. I mean, he was in there. He didn't work here, right?
I know.
He would literally be in here, be in the humidor, and he would tell people, hey, get the Rocky Patel 1999. Get the 99s. Get the night. Oh, that's my favorite cigar. I love the, and that's.
I can't tell you how many times I showed up here, and I just sitting down, and then all of a sudden Fluff's just sitting next to me.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, like he just there he is.
It's crazy.
Like great guy, man. We all everybody missed him. I thought Alabama did a really good thing with all the different ways that they've honored him, the scholarships and all that stuff. That's awesome, man. Like, and they should, like
and they
special dude. And for Nate Oates to go to his funeral I thought was great too.
Nate Oates and Herb Jones.
Yeah, and Herb. Most of the team did, right? Yeah. Loved the basketball. And I mean, I'm saying that we're talking about this tonight too, because it's the tip off,
and Herb Jones is starting tonight for the Pelicans.
He is he?
Yeah, he's in the starting lineup for the Pelicans tonight.
Man, that's great. How about Alabama basketball?
I mean, what can you say?
I mean, they're pretty good. We had Chris Stewart on the show. We went off the air, and Chris was like, man, I feel you're going to love this team, man. You need to follow this team.
Yeah.
Legitimately good.
Yeah. They're going to, I mean.
The SEC is going to be competitive. I think, Kentucky will also be there. But Alabama still has a pretty good chance. Look, if you can find a way to play J.D. Davison, Jaden Shackelford, and Javon Clearly on the court, and if that can work, I mean, who's stopping it?
It'll work. It's like, Nate will figure it out.
Well, and I think then they're running into a problem of which guy do they put on the bench?
Yeah. I asked Nate Oates about it. He says that, he's played 3-point guards before.
Yeah.
Essentially play with those two guys. Now, that's not going to be the every day.
No, of course not.
Pairing, but good luck stopping that. That's insane. That's your, Golden State Warriors death lineup.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Right.
I mean, he would have been so thrilled to see J.D. Davison in an Alabama uniform for the first time.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man.
And
they just got another 5-star guy.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing, right? It's not inconceivable that Alabama could win the SEC in football, basketball, softball, and baseball.
Really? Baseball?
I mean, our baseball team. No, we have
Reagan. Hot take over here.
No, we have a top 15 team in baseball.
Top
I'm not
15 puts you 7th in the SEC though. I hope you're
said
right.
It's not inconceivable. It would take a lot to knock off Vandy. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Vandy is the Yankees. Well, excuse me. Not the Yankees. The Yankees are awful.
The Dodgers.
The Yankees are unlimited resources, the biggest payroll in the SEC.
The Dodgers.
Right. They're the Dodgers of the SEC.
They're always there.
Yeah. When I was growing up, it was the Yankees.
I know. Look,
you too.
And me too. I'm not disagreeing. I know where you're going, but
they have
participating in any Yankee praise. My dad's from Boston.
Okay,
yeah, he's a
perfect.
Red Sox guy.
Okay, well they're like the Red Sox. They have an unlimited payroll.
When
they're not like the Reds, which are broke.
How about the Cubs?
Yeah.
Right now? Look, when overtime is over on here, he'll be watching the Red Sox.
Hey.
Probably. I don't know. Are crying into my bourbon.
You got to win 2 in Houston, right? Is that what it comes down to? It's gonna be.
Weird,
Do they have the trash cans out this year?
They're whistling.
They're whistling.
That's what the rumor
Oh,
is.
really?
It's weird. I'm a Red Sox fan because my dad's from Boston, but I'm from Houston, so there's like that side to this whole thing.
Oh, man.
And on the other side, my grandpa is old enough to be a Braves fan from the time when they were in Boston.
Yeah.
He grew up.
Whoa.
So, like, yeah, I'm pretty.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty actually okay. I mean, obviously, I want the Red Sox to win, but I'm pretty actually okay if anybody but the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Because I have like some kind of. At least I know someone that.
That's going old
And,
school.
like,
when you're like
R&R
a Boston Braves fan.
R&R is like a staff divided, right? I've got a Red Sox fan, I've got an Astros fan, I've got a Braves fan, and I have a Dodgers fan. So like they're all like, and then I got one guy, that's a Mariners fan, and he's never seen his team in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't even know what
he's
that
just
even
sad.
means. I don't know what that means.
Great year when I was a kid. I mean, like, what was
Yeah,
that?
like the Griffey years.
Yeah. When Griffey scored, and then
Yeah.
it was like the movie Major League. Like they had that.
He was in that, or no, not Major League. He was in the one of the baseball movies.
Was he?
Little Big League.
Oh, Little Big League.
Yeah.
Well, Major League,
Yeah.
the Indians won at the end, and then
Yeah.
but they really lost. You know, they made the playoffs. That was the end of the first one. Then the rest of them were terrible.
I liked Major League 3 with Scott Bakula. I did. I liked it.
Major League 2 was awful.
And speaking of Major League, one of the last like little text convos I had with Luke was literally current ML or Atlanta Braves players as people from Major League.
Yeah.
I love
And
doing those kind of.
And it actually like worked out because you have Acuna as like hot hands, you know, and then and there are a couple others.
Well, who's Eddie Harris?
Which one's Eddie Harris?
The old pitcher, Bardol, and
that's probably John.
Crisco.
That's like John Smoltz.
I put a little jalapeno.
That's probably John Smoltz, pal.
Oh, you're going old school then.
Tom Glavine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know Smoltz a little bit. I don't know him well. I spent a lot of time with Greg Maddox, so
yeah.
I still talk. Like I use a Greg Maddox story every time.
Yeah,
every
you
once
know
in a
what?
while. He's such a good dude,
Here's
smart
the thing.
guy.
Here's one for you. I got a really hot take. This one's going to be one of my hottest takes ever.
If you say he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame,
Greg Maddox would be an average pitcher if it was a robo strike zone.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I think he
his strike zone was here. He might
would
have
have changed. He was
but-
that good.
Like he was working with what he had, and he worked so well.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I wonder if he would.
That's I can't.
If he had to pitch to the same strike zone
The
as
guy won
everybody,
350 games, though, man.
yeah,
I mean,
but
like,
he had a. I mean, he was. He was. He was white to white, man. he had it from batter's box to batter's box. If it was close, yeah, you're out.
I don't know about that one.
You could say that with a lot of sports, though. I mean, like I love the Patriots. The first Patriots team, they mauled people. Like actually, probably the first two Patriots Super Bowl champions. Maybe even the first. That's still where you could like Ty Law. You could put your hands on the receiver.
Oh yeah, different game.
Alabama football is the same exact way. Mike Johnson was asked about what the best Alabama team was of all time, and his response was, "Well, what rules are we playing with?"
Last year was the best.
Well,
one
but
of all
you
time.
say that, but what rules?
No, it is. Like,
I mean, think about it.
Like that last year,
I'm not saying that. I'm
so
not.
stupid.
Imagine, right? People want to say what 2008. They want to say that's the best.
No,
one.
2009.
Or 2009. Excuse me.
I'm not saying that's what he
2009.
said. He just said what rules.
Who is
The rules
on
are
the
so
2009 team? Who's covering Smitty?
I mean, and then you also had.
And then who's covering? And then who's covering Waddle? Yeah, I mean,
The line was good.
and
He was a good second receiver. Yeah.
Menzie, yeah, he's like
and
the
then
third dude.
and then
right?
let's be real here. You think that what? Who was the quarterback in 2000? Was it AJ's?
No, it was McElroy.
Yeah, he's not having a fun.
Look, I know
he's not having a fun time with that defense.
I'm not disagreeing. I mean, of all the quarterbacks Alabama's had, I'd say that won championships, he's probably here, you know. But I mean, the rest of the team, though, you had Mark Ingram, a Heisman Trophy winner.
You had Najee Harris.
Wasn't Trent Richardson the backup on that team?
You had Najee Harris. He could have been tried.
Yeah.
Most years is a Heisman Trophy winner. Like the thing about Alabama,
You could have had 3 Heisman Trophy winners on that team.
Waddle doesn't get hurt.
4.
Devontae Smith
doesn't win the Heisman because he didn't have enough plays.
It's probably Mac Jones is your number one.
Right,
guy.
right.
Najee Harris goes
To be fair,
New York or whatever.
to be fair, if Waddle's healthy all season long, there's no reason that Waddle doesn't win a Heisman either.
I think at that point, Mac wins Heisman because they split.
Yeah. Okay. They vulture each other. Yeah,
Right.
I got you.
I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with
I
that.
think Mac wins the Heisman. I mean, people forgot Mac broke 2 records last year, 2 NCAA single season
Yeah,
records.
he broke Burrow's record with less games.
Yeah, and then he also broke McCoy's. I think that's the more impressive is the completion.
Yeah,
percentage,
it's wild.
The funny thing is, like, is we're in overtime right now. We're
Yeah.
20 minutes in overtime, and I know we got to wrap this up, but Reagan's the first guy to say, I think Mac's going to be better than Tua.
Well,
and I was like, no way, man.
No,
that was before I worked with Bama Insider.
No,
This
pal.
is before I worked
No,
with
this
Bama
was-
Insider.
This was. I wanted Mac. What in?
I don't remember the year, but it was before I worked with Bama Insider. So it was-
No, I wanted
Tua
Mac.
was there.
It was the year after Jalen transferred. I wanted Mac starting that year. I felt like Mac would have beaten LSU when Tua lost. Yeah, I said that to him.
And then Mac, had the game against Auburn, and I was like, I don't know, man. And then
that's the game where I actually super.
I know you said that.
Yeah,
I was the exact opposite.
A month.
I was wrong.
A whole month ahead.
When I saw Mac play that game, I knew it was serious.
You know why? And you know why why I'm so excited about being the first one there? Because if you ain't first, you're last.
Well, look, the guy's proven me wrong. I mean, I said how many times did I say that last year? A lot. I mean, I love that. I mean, I don't want to be right if I'm saying, hey, I don't know if this guy can play.
Yeah.
So give him a lot of credit.
I think Mac's better. I think he had a better college career than Tua, even just with the one.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. Tua got hurt too much, man. Like Mac was smart, and so is Bryce Young in the same way. It's like I'm not taking the hits.
Yes.
Tua took too many hits, and it cost him.
But
it cost him.
But there's a happy medium in between, and that was the one thing about Mac last game that I was really proud of was starting to use his legs to pick up those third downs. I think he had 3 third down runs for a first down, and that's the part of the game. Like obviously there's
last week.
Yeah. Yeah. He had 3, I think it was like three first downs that he with his legs.
And he's only going to get you like 7 or 8 yards. But
Yeah.
he can get those.
No, but
those are big runs,
cans, and he needs to realize
Yes.
when he can.
Yes, and do it.
Yes.
I
Instead
agree.
of because so many times he's just back there all day in the pocket and he's looking for something. And it's like, dude, they're giving you 10 yards.
Yeah. Yep,
Take
yep.
the 10 yards.
Yep.
Right. And
Yep.
you slide. Right? Slide.
Learn how to slide.
Like slide.
I've said that. You
Run
just
out
got to
of
learn how to slide
bounds.
feet first.
Yes. Slide, run out of
Yeah.
bounds. You know,
I agree with
something.
that.
Go.
Aren't afraid to run now. That was one of the things I appreciated about Jalen is the fact that
Yes.
he run into a freight train.
Yeah.
The kid was not scared.
And he's still doing it in the NFL.
He never got hurt either.
Yeah.
He took some licks that,
But Cam, I mean, look at what Cam Newton.
it's going to hurt. I think it is.
Long term, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
On anyone.
Yep. Well, let's wrap it up. What do you think about tomorrow?
It's going to be a pretty easy game for Alabama. I think that, I know Nick Saban said this about Tennessee having the fastest offense. Well, look, they actually don't have as many plays per game as Ole Miss. So Alabama's already done this. To me, Tennessee's kind of Ole Miss light.
Yes.
And so, I think
Without Matt Corral.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Hooker's going to play. I think,
He is going to play. Because I heard he wasn't, but now he's going to play.
He's going to play. But even if he's 100% healthy and played,
It wouldn't have been made a
He's
difference.
already shut down a better offense.
Yeah, yeah.
Tennessee defense is not going to do anything
Right.
either. So
And I mean, even if he does play, they don't have 2 of their offensive linemen.
Yeah, both Mays, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that.
And they're the 2 best
I mean,
guys
like
they got.
you were looking for a Will Anderson game, for a game where Will Anderson could get another easy
FanDuels.
4 stacks.
Take Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Look, I'm telling you, Will Anderson has the same. And I asked Nick Saban about this. This is around the time last year where Will Anderson kind of kicked it to another level.
Mhm.
Now it's kind of hard to expect him, and that's what Nick Saban kind of gave.
Yeah,
him a hard
right.
time. It's kind of hard to expect him to kick it to another level. But man, if he did, if this is just one of these, if he's one of those guys that needs to like get his feet set under the season and he gets better as the season goes. There's some players that just every year, no matter what level they're at, that if he's one of those guys and he does this again, I mean, he could be a Heisman. You look at the Heisman candidates, and I know it's defense, but like, there's not a surefire guy that's
he's got to take over.
But I mean, like, if
he did last week, he's got to take over again.
Every game.
Every game, he's got to take over.
I think 3 or 4 more times, and obviously one of them would have to be Georgia.
Yeah.
I think if he ends up with like something like 7
I agree with that.
sacks,
I'm with you.
think you're really.
But I think the biggest thing for me is that A&M game. 0 hurries.
Yeah.
0 pressures. That's tough. That's tough. That's going to be real tough to overcome.
They schemed around him and took him out of the game.
But still, if you're a Heisman guy,
you shouldn't be able to.
But look, it's a turning point, though.
I don't disagree.
So
I don't
you
disagree.
build off of that.
Yes.
I mean, the guy's got a shot. We talked about it on the show. Reagan, anything else?
I think it's blood. Come get your victory cigars, man.
I know. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have
get your
another
victory
drink.
cigars. Yeah.
Hang out with you and Tony and the
Roll
rest of the
Tide.
crew here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like we did.
I gotta go get back on the register.
25 minutes of overtime just to do it.
Yeah.
Just to give it for all you guys that are gonna watch or watching right now.
Yeah. Roll Tide.
Roll
Man.
Tide. Give us a thumbs
Were
up.
the comments good?
Yeah, we got a lot of them, man. Look, Tennessee Vols is garbage. One of them.
Nice. We love that.
Hey, thanks all of you guys for hanging out with us on overtime. It's the first time we did it. I've been wanting to do this.
Yeah.
I thought this would be fun to do.
It is fun.
Yeah. So for Tony Sukalis and Reagan Starner, I'm Mick Gillispie, and thank you guys for watching Bama Insider. Don't forget, tomorrow after the game, right at just fourth quarter, go ahead and put the Bama Insider YouTube channel on, and then as soon as it's over, we'll be at Westgate Luxury Condominium. We'll be eating all the good food up there. You should come by, Tony. I'm telling you. The spread's amazing. You'll be writing. Put your pen down and come hang out with us. All right. Hey, thanks, guys.